much. I know I'm at the fag end of this session and I don't want to really bore you with a lot of things. But again, as we heard a lot of interesting speakers, I was very, very happily taking notes of all the previous 3-4 presentations that we had. And I think that's really good food for thought. So a little bit more food for thought I can add, because since we are discussing wellness, we are discussing health, we are discussing lifestyle, is milk. So milk, of course, you know, is a superfood, which is good. It's natural, it's rich in nutrients. Of course, it has all the macros, the vitamins, the minerals, the protein, the fats, the versatility and taste. And how that gets into the Indian cultural heritage is actually known to us. India is known as a land of milk and honey, and a mythology and everything talks about milk in a very great detail. And wherever we come from in any part of the country, eating milk with every meal is a very, very important part of what we do. And what you eat is what you are, and that's what we heard our previous speakers also. So eating good food, nutritious food, and looking after your own health and wellness becomes a very, very important part of what we are. And how here we talk about the role of milk, not just in transforming our own health or our own nutrition or our own lifestyle, but also the journey of how Amul helped India become the largest producer of milk in the world. And I'll connect both these things. We are discussing India, we are discussing taste, we are discussing our heritage, and more importantly, we are discussing where we are heading to. And this is where Amul, over the last 7 decades, has brought in a range of products to meet the taste and nutritional requirements of the consumers of the world. But there are few things which we take away from the previous speakers, and the importance of each of these things. If we say, we heard about how protein is important to all of us. And here, I'm not here to plug in the range of protein products are there. I would also invite you to taste and sample some of them available right outside this hall. But more importantly is the awareness we are trying to create, that each one of us has to consume 1 gram of protein per kg of body weight. We are all educated, we are all aware of what we intend to become. And if we want, and we heard the previous speakers also talking about it, and be it a child or be it a senior citizen, this is very, very important part of it. And this is where Amul, as the largest dairy company in the country, or the organization who handles such a large volume of milk, we are very, very consciously trying to create this particular awareness. And that is what will help each one of us stay healthy and be more and more productive as we grow. And the issues which we talked about in the previous sessions have a solution to many of these things which is there. We discussed macrobiome and from the previous speaker. But then what is very important is probiotics. And this is what helps you build the immunity of your gut. And gut is a different brain. I mean, we are discussing always this brain, and the previous speaker also told us how to detach and how to connect and how to give up and the ego to surrender. But one thing which will never let you do that is the gut which is there. And this is what is constantly keeping demands on the brain, and that's what creates the imbalance that we have. So this goodness of probiotics, which you can have just by having 100 ml of Amul buttermilk every day. I mean, no fat, no sugar, price just 30 rupees a liter, available across the country with a volume of more than 30 lakh liters. Just 6 months back, we decided to make it probiotic without even charging a single rupee to the customer. We all know immunity is very important to all of us, and how Amul can play this role in building the immunity of the country and strengthening the gut brain is what is an effort in this direction. And believe me, it's giving practical results. And I'm sharing it out of my personal experience, that when once I realized the science behind it, for the last 20 years, and if we talk of say 7,000 days, I have consumed probiotic every single day for 6,950 days. And which means I've never had the need of having any antibiotic, anything which we take usually, the digenes and the pudinharas and the union enzymes of the world. You don't need to take it despite having a very stressed life or irregular eating habits or continuous travel and so on and so forth. So this is the goodness we're talking about. And the third important pillar which we want to talk on and build the organization on and for future is organics. We all want to stay healthy, we want to live healthy, we listen to interesting people, we try to imbibe good things. But when it comes to eating, we don't realize what we are eating is full of chemical fertilizers and probiotics. And this is where we realize that this is a time to tell the society that we need to eat healthy. We need to tell the farmers that there is a market for organics. If you convert your land into organics, don't use chemical fertilizers and pesticides, and look after the health of our consumers. And consumers know that there's a production available for it. You're creating a win-win situation. So we created a range of products around it. And this is what is going to make us healthy and, more importantly, preserve the soil, which will meet 1.5 billion people we have, and we need to feed ourselves for next 50, 100, 200, 5,000 years. The soil will help you to do that, and our health will also help us improve that. So this is where, as a brand, we've been trying to spread the message of the brand, taking the brand global. I just skipped this slide of US launch because it's right now not fitting in the narrative, but I'll come to it at the end of it. But here, when we say that we are doing this, the message of a social organization transforming the society and the country becomes very important. And that's what, as Amul, our role to communicate. I mean, there are few times only you get a chance to talk directly, but otherwise consumers don't take such messages very lightly. I mean, seriously. So you need to find a way about telling the story of cooperatives, sharing the role of women empowerment, how as a social model this is helping us. Because as a society, if we evolve, then only the difference can be made. And this is a storytelling, which is the Manthan story. I'm happy to say that in the Cannes Film Festival, Manthan is being listed in the Heritage Film, and it will be screened the day after tomorrow. And right after this session, I'll be going to Cannes, and we will be doing the red carpet on 17th, and we're doing this. So this is the power of a model, power of a story, and how it helps us showcase to the world that how a cooperative can make a change in a country. And this is what Amul has been doing. The Amul topical campaign is known to all of you. So it's basically how we try to fit in the context. Think about the consumer, what he wants to do, what is the content you're trying to put in, and with the consistency that you're able to do is what will bring in the message. And that's what we've been doing consistently over the last 7 decades. Amul Doodh Pita Hai India, to Amul Taste of India, to Amul Real Milk, Real Ice Cream, to Utterly Butterly Amul. And you can see the journey, and all of us as consumers have evolved as a part of it. And that's where technology comes in, that's what digital comes in, that's what embracing technology comes in. This is where tastes come in, this is where the experiences come in, this is where the range selling comes in, and more importantly, understanding and interacting the consumers come in. And when it comes to difficult times, when you are talking of health and wellness, and we heard about COVID and the times during COVID, how do brands respond to it? Aditi ji talked about it. This is where simple things you are able to connect, look after the well-being of the consumers, listen from the experts, and try to create things which will involve large number of people, do things which will connect everyone, and that can make a very, very big difference. So this is what we've been trying to do for several decades, looking at the farmers, looking after the consumers, creating a range of products that are able to look after our health and nutrition, focusing on the process on how we are able to connect 3.6 million farmers across 18,600 villages, bringing in more than 300 lakh liters of milk every day. And that's what brings through the processing, through the latest technology, which can make all this difference. And this is where we are currently with 300 million liters of milk every day, or 3 crore liters. We handle 11 billion liters of milk every year. The Amul brand turnover was 80,000 crores last year. And we are the 8th largest dairy company in the world, racing soon to be among the top 5 and also to become the largest in the world. As a brand, it's the most trusted brand, of course. It's among the strongest food brands in the world. It's a strong dairy brand in the world. And that's what is being the category. And if you hear the Prime Minister at your Golden Jubilee thing, that since independence, India has had a lot of brands, but Amul jaisa koi nahi. And he spoke at our Golden Jubilee function at the Narendra Modi Stadium on 22nd of February, where he said that you have to aspire to become the largest in the world. This is where it inspires us, and that's where it brings us to our major objective and goal, that while we talk about numbers of volume, value, turnover, and so on and so forth, the currency that organization has not milk, it is the trust. And this trust can come in by understanding the changing customers, looking after the interest of the farmers, looking after the interest of the producers, using this model to bring in development across the country. India has a new Ministry of Cooperation. There are several more initiatives happening to establish and expand this model, not just in dairy, in other parts of the sectors. We are promoters of the multi-state cooperative on exports, multi-state cooperative on organics, multi-state cooperative on seeds, and not only the Amul model in dairy, but it goes into many other models. It brings in overall well-being to the society. And once the income and socio-economic status improves, the health and wellness things, what we discuss, and that's the theme of this today's seminar, will become very more practical, connecting every single Indian across all regions, across all income groups, rural, urban, put together. And that's where not just India, but in different parts of the world also, if you are able to bring out the models. So we talked about exports of dairy products, launch of milk in the US, to creation of and replication of this model in Sri Lanka, Kenya, and other developing countries, bringing in women empowerment, bringing in social economic development, can make a big difference to lives of not just the people we work with in India, but to everyone around the world. And this is what will be India's offering to the world in the next few decades. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I hope that in a nutshell, I've been able to share with you overall what's happening in the dairy space, in the Amul space, and each one of us as consumers, what are the key takeaways to improve our health, wellness, and well-being. Thank you so much.